power in the verse can stop me.
What's going on, guys? My name is Aldeniro and welcome to episode 49 of the Midnight Hour, just one away from the big 50, for which I have nothing special planned at all, so I don't know why I keep counting down to it every single week. It's just a big number and I'm pretty happy. It took us like a year and 7 months to get 49 episodes out. But and also a few episodes got taken down because of Run DMC. So that's the thing that happened. I'm joined today by...
So much.
What did you say?
That explains so much. Bloody Run DMC.
It was actually Run DMC. They hit me with a claim. Bastards. I'm joined by the original co-host of the show.
You
Resides in the ocean.
Yeah, I reside in the mythical land that is the Midlands of England at the moment, and it's kind of difficult to get the internet here because I am living in 1974. Seriously, like I also learned recently. Sorry, this is the most ridiculous thing. I learned recently that the town that I live in and go to uni in actually has the prison that hosts Rolf Harris.
Oh wow.
So yeah, that's a fun fact to start the show.
Yeah, that is really good, and it ties nicely into our topic.
Because I learned that on the internet.
Our topic is the internet. We were originally going to do a topic on something else, but that turned out to be a disaster. I realised after I said it, that joke is only funny if you...
That joke is funny to two people, and it's us. It's us two. That is the only people the joke is funny to.
Yep. Welcome to the episode. Now we were going to talk about disasters. So imagine you knew that the whole time, and that my joke is funny now.
Yeah.
And then if you could just include some residual laughter for that, we will all be square. So yeah. We were like looking at disasters and stuff, and we were like, this is a bit wordy and detailed, and all we're essentially going to be doing is regurgitating stuff that we've read on the internet, which got us to think. The internet? No, that's actually not how it went at all. I linked it from a DM that Jack sent me the other day saying that we should discuss the impact of social media. And the fact that when I was looking up disasters, I was reading about the Titanic, and I watched the movie Titanic recently, and I was quite surprised to learn that it only has a 7.7 on IMDb because it's such a decorated movie, and I just would have thought that it would have a higher rating. It was a really, really big deal at the time. I remember it being like an absolute cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
A pre-internet era cultural phenomenon as well, which seems to, in my mind, hold so much more weight because it lasts longer if it isn't being driven by the internet, you know? Like Titanic versus Alex from Target. Like, one thing...
God, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah,
great.
You know what I mean?
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like, like now the whole Drake videos that are going along, the whole Drake vines. Those will be done within like a week, and then nobody will remember them.
I listened to Hotline Bling on repeat for an hour and a half last night. It is so infectious. You know, I'm actually a huge Drake fan, right? But I actually didn't really like Hotline Bling the first time I heard it, and I was like, it's too... Like, Drake has, like... There's obviously sad Drake. There's a different kind of emotional Drake, where he's just talking about his vulnerabilities, but not necessarily being sad. Then there's just hype, angry, or, like, rap god kind of Drake, where he just goes, like, really old school and all, like... I don't know, I really like when he does that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's just obnoxious Drake. And I feel like Hotline Bling, Back to Back, and Charged Up all fall into the obnoxious Drake category. So when I first heard Hotline Bling, I was like, But then it just caught up with me, and it's a fucking unreal song, and it is very, very infectious, and I enjoy it. And so is that Can't Feel My Face song by The Weeknd. It's actually The Weekend, but I call it The Weeknd because that's
The Weeknd.
Yeah, it's way cooler.
Yeah,
it's a much better name. I was in the middle of a point before that, wasn't I?
I'm sure we were. Something about pop culture, maybe.
Yeah.
So, something about the internet.
Once something invades public consciousness, it stays there for a long time and becomes something that a lot of people remember. And those are the things that you look back on, I don't know, like year in review lists will contain detailed things of stuff that happened in January, February. Or if you look at like reviews of decades or specific years, there's always like those things that hang around that gripped everybody in one thing that everyone was united either in favor of or against or whatever. And the internet has changed that, in that everything is more of a like 15-minute fame type deal. That's why you get people like Alex from Target and all of the other people along with that. And that's interesting to me, and that's one effect it's had on pop culture, and we want to talk about that or other things that it has affected, such as a thing that Jack has read about, which I really, really love, and I've been talking about in pieces, like I've been talking about the bones of this on the podcast for a long time based on opinion. But you go ahead and
So the I suppose the summary of this, I'm not going to read out the abstract because it's a psychological what's the word I'm looking for?
Not quite thesis, but like
it's
it's
a journal. It's a journal entry. But not of like a girl or a child. It's like a medical journal, a psychological journal.
It does start with
submission.
Dear Diary, though.
Yeah, it does. It actually just starts with hashtag. But it's basically centered around the idea that the internet creates an illusion whereby people mistake access to information for their own personal understanding of the information. Yes, so I don't think I need to break that down any further.
It's something that I have always been saying about conspiracy theory nuts, and why I think that there are two types. There are people who are mentally ill and they believe every single alternative version of events because they're mentally ill. Like you know what I mean, though? Like, everyone knows the crazy person who believes that aliens are watching us, he has to wear a tinfoil hat. Like, that classic stereotype of a crazy, paranoid person. Who it's probably, like, paranoid schizophrenia, something like that. And that's, like, type A. And then there's the other... I like the way I said type A, as if I've, like, done this, like, conclusively. Then there's type B, conspiracy theorist, who is just a normal person like you or me, and they're not limited in their brain capacity or anything. It's just that they have read that jet fuel can't melt steel beams, and therefore they believe that they know everything about this subject. And this is something that I've always said, because I find it so baffling that you get like an ordinary person like you or me with no knowledge of any kind of engineering or like how, like, structural integrity, like all of these things that are really just hearsay for people like us, versus the people who actually built the fucking things, or people who know about actually building stuff. And they're like, no man, like, jet fuel cannot melt steel beams. It is impossible for things at this temperature to melt this type of structure. And it's like, you don't know that at all. You've just read it somewhere, and you sound smart when you say it, so people won't question it. But you have to understand that you just... That's what it is. It's that skim reading something gives you a perception that you understand every single thing about it. And that is a thing that I'm really glad that someone has put into writing, because I've been trying to say it for a long time and haven't really been able to.
Yeah, I think I think everyone's guilty of it to a degree. Definitely, I think that's a kind of unquestionable, because it's so easy to, especially with the internet, but even pre-internet, it's so easy to regurgitate information, because I've found myself doing it with, I'm not going to say I read a lot of books that are factually correct, but I read a lot of books that will feature facts, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For example, and I mention him all the time, but the easiest example, because I've read a ton of his stuff, is Bill Bryson, and he'll often talk about, that he used to write for the Times, and he'd do a weekly column. And it was kind of light-hearted comedy kind of thing based on his life and how he's this perpetually average and boring man. There was, there was one that he did on statistics, and even now that book was released, and he did this column, and this book was released in 1993, the year I was born, and I will still regurgitate that information every now and then whenever it comes up, as if it's the latest statistic.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's bullshit, but the person I'm telling it to doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I can confidently tell them that in 1992, in the United States of America, more people were killed by vending machines than shark attacks.
Yeah, everyone loves that.
I can confidently say that.
Yeah.
But did I learn that? Or did I, do I know what the actual numbers are? No. Of course not. Do I know any other kind of statistic bearing that fact? No. Like, it's just this knowledge that I've picked up, and I just run with it.
Yeah, and I
I
think
think everybody's guilty of it.
I think it's actually a greater component of the human condition rather than an aspect of the internet. I just think the internet has enhanced it because it's free information that's available at the touch of a button. But if you think everybody does this, right? Definitely, every single person reads something a little bit and then thinks, well, I'm smart enough to understand this. And if you think that you don't, ask yourself what your reaction is when someone talks about a footballer that you've never seen play before in your life, but you can't admit that. Because, like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but football fans will do anything to make people believe that they have watched a certain player play. Like, you could be talking about some right back playing for Marseille that, like, no one watches French football in this particular discussion. But they'll talk about this guy and be like, oh yeah, no, he's a solid enough player, that guy. Like, imagining his ultimate team card and the balance of stats and stuff. And football fans do that all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
all football
constantly.
fans do it. And I've even done it. Like, I'm a FIFA YouTube commentator sometimes. I should know what I'm talking about. So, like, it's just, like, you have to just put on this persona when you're talking to certain people, and you see it on Twitter all the time. Like, if like a club with a big fan base like Liverpool signs a player from the MLS, people who don't support Liverpool will say, well, he's shocking, he's not even a good player, like, he holds no reputation in global football, like, they've taken a serious gamble there and it's not going to pay off, because I can tell you right now, he is not the caliber of a Premier League player. That's person A, having never seen him play. Person B is like, no, he looked pretty solid in last season. Like, he put on some great performances, especially in the Copa Libertadores, and blah, blah, and it goes on and on and on, and no one has even seen this player play. And that is just one angle of this, where you have knowledge of something, therefore you purvey extensive knowledge that isn't actually there to begin with.
I think it's incredibly easy, especially with football and with a lot of other sports, is that you can go online and you can look up, and especially obviously with football being such a massive sport, you can go online and you can type in a player's name and look at all of his stats for his whole career, during the internet, provided he's been, playing during the internet period. So, you can take any of his stats and say, well, last season he scored this many goals, but this season he scored this many goals, so he's on course to score this many goals. But it doesn't contribute to, and obviously with strikers, maybe it's fairly easy to say, well, he's scored and assisted this many goals, therefore he is shit, bad, good, world class, whatever. But take a midfielder or a centre back, their skills are a lot more difficult to put into quantifiable numbers.
Exactly, yeah.
But then people will look at, say, and I know for a fact that I've done it before, and you've probably done it before, and especially I think younger guys, teenagers who have kind of grown up playing Ultimate Team and FIFA. It's become, they'll look at their stat cards and their cards on Ultimate Team and will base their entire opinion on a player off of the Ultimate Team card.
Absolutely. And before that it was Football Manager, and before that it was Championship Manager. It's a thing that football fans, like, I've got a mate, Andy, who you've actually met before, and he may even be listening to this, and he will 100% admit to this with a smile on his face. He, like, for a long time, for maybe 10 years now, Andy has been promoting Jack Wilshere as one of the next best players in the world, because in his Football Manager career in 2006, Jack Wilshere led his team to multiple titles. And he had a Celtic save one time where Collins John scored like 40 goals or something. This was back when Collins John was an okay Premier League footballer. Now, I think he actually went to the Netherlands and had an okay spell, and I think he's in a very low league now. But Andy still believes that Collins John is just a sleeping giant who needs the right guidance to be woke. Like, if tomorrow, like, Jurgen Klopp turns around and buys Collins John will become the 40 goal a season guy that Andy believes him to be. And it's not even like I think with things like this, if you do it and you know that you're doing it, it's a lot less harmful. But you see people can get very sinister and very aggressive in arguments where they're defending points that they actually have not researched at all. And it's like the bane of the internet, I think, to see those types of arguments happening. And what you were talking about with people saying like people attempting to look up a defender and not being able to come away with an opinion there. Yeah. That is why the Ballon d'Or winner is an attacker. Like that's constantly, why because you cannot judge a defender. Like you actually cannot do it unless you have an extensive knowledge of the sport, which, to be honest, most football fans absolutely do not. And furthermore, the pundits don't even know about football. Like if you watch football, and I've seen this happen before. It was in a championship game, and there was a player who, I think it's Henry Lansbury, the former Arsenal player. The goalkeeper, this was in the championship, the goalkeeper was kicking the ball out, and he had the ball in one hand, and then he threw it in the air and kicked it. But Lansbury, I think it was Lansbury, it could have been some other former Arsenal player, kicked the ball out of the keeper's one hand and then scored. And it became a big debate. And like the pundits were discussing it in the studio, and they were like, "Yeah, well, he's only got one hand on the ball, so the player knocks it out and puts it in. That's a goal." That's not in the rules.
No.
The rules are if he's got any hand on the ball, you don't fucking touch the ball. He's got the ball, so you can't touch it. But they're there discussing it, like completely oblivious to the fucking rules of a sport that they are paid to talk about. Like that's football. You actually don't know how good a player is. Like, I mean, obviously, fans of their own club will say their player because they watch him week in and week out, so it's not quite the same thing. But, like, how good of a defender even is, like, Philip Senderos? Do you know? Like, nobody actually knows. It's like one of those things that just...
Yeah, I think, speaking about even commentators being, these kind of, they should, they're meant to be these kind of fact machines, and they're meant to not only be able to keep the game rolling, let you know what's going on, but, they should be able to kind of put out these facts. Like, this is something that I saw earlier today, and this is something that I absolutely love, and this is something that was actually in the soccer subreddit, and I'm basically going to be, paraphrasing a comment that I saw, but the headline was that Cristiano Ronaldo has only scored 2 of his last 88 free kick attempts.
Yeah.
That's 2.2% of his last free kicks that he's actually scored.
Yep.
Right? If Ronaldo gets a free kick within 30, 40 yards of the box, what is a commentator going to say? A commentator isn't going to bring up that fact. A commentator is going to go, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, well, he's kind of shit, really, isn't he? Because, you don't. That's, it's not what you say. They're not going to play down the fact that Ronaldo stood within, 30, 40 yards taking a free kick.
What do you think it is, Trevor? Ronaldo's got a free kick 27 yards from goal. Well, statistically, it's not going in, is it?
So the statistics, and to be honest, any respectable keeper will be treating that with a certain amount of danger, even if the statistics say that it's shit.
Well, a keeper will have to believe that everyone is the one that's going in, and that's their job. But it's funny you say that about Ronaldo, because I always say that. It's one of my favourite things to say when I'm out with my friends, is like, whenever there's a free kick or Ronaldo gets it, I always say, Ronaldo is fucking terrible at free kicks. And everyone gets really offended. Like, people love to protect their cult hero.
Their idols, yeah.
And I'm always just like, he is fucking dreadful at free... And I always make my own statistic up. Like, he scores 1 in every 400 free kicks that he makes. Like, that kind of thing. But, like, it is, like, it's true, like, statistically...
Yeah, but you can take... Yeah, go on.
No, just commentators just are not aware of this kind of thing. Like,
No.
commentators don't even watch players play at all. I remember when Swansea City signed Ki Sung Young from Celtic, and Ki Sung Young is about 6 foot. He's tall.
Yeah.
He's South Korean, but he's tall,
Yeah.
and I think generally because people just don't think of South Koreans as being tall. Like
No.
that's a like a racial predisposition that people have already come up with, but. They signed him from Celtic, right? And at the time, Celtic were playing some passing football, like some nice fast-paced passing football when they could. I know people will say, "Oh, Scottish football is shit," but like they were a passing team, and Ki Sung Young was brought in to completely amplify that type of game because he is a great passer of the ball, and that was his strength when he played for the South Korean under-21s, was his ability to pick out a pass anywhere on the field. And Swansea signed him because Swansea were a passing team and they played some beautiful football in the Premier League. And I remember a team of Chris Coleman and a few other. It was before like Super Sunday. Swansea were playing someone and they were like, yeah, they've brought in this guy. Not their usual type of player. He comes from the Scottish League. He's a big guy. He's a bruiser. He loves getting stuck into tackles. He'll push people off the ball. And now it's like, you're not describing the same player at all. You've just seen Scottish League, tall, must be a hard tackler and an aggressive player. Like, no research went into that. That's infuriating. And that is caused by the same bias that makes you think that because you've done something... because you've skimmed the surface that you know the full depth when you don't. And I think that a lot of people think that I'm like really intelligent, and I've always maintained that I am of average intelligence, and I really think that I have learned how to skim read stuff and then extract what I need and then present it as if I know all the facts.
I think the important thing with what you're saying, and I think I do the same thing. I'd like to think that it's easy to see a lot of the stuff, of people not knowing the difference between cologne and their colon.
Yeah.
And saying that they love their boyfriend's colon.
Yeah.
Like, stuff like that. It's easy to see that and then think, well, if half the population is that stupid, then I've got to be above average.
I know.
But I think it's being able to skim read something, taking the basics and understanding the logic behind what is being said or what is being discussed, and then kind of basing your knowledge on that. I don't think that's so much the problem. If you're understanding the logic and understanding the reasoning and everything behind the sentiment of what's being said, I'm not sure that's the problem. I think it's when people literally just take base facts, and you see this on Reddit a lot actually. I browse Reddit nearly almost constantly because it's a great aggregator of links, images, news, all sorts. But people in the comments will read the headline, so they'll read the scientists have found this amazing new planet that bears life, and will be in the comment section going mad about the fact that we're going to colonize this planet, when in reality it's 3 billion light years away, and there's no chance that it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Because they've read is scientists find life on far-flung planet, and that's all they take. They don't actually read the article. They don't actually understand anything behind it.
Yeah, I actually think that seeing as we should move away from the original point, but like to flesh it out a little bit more, I don't think that access to social media or the internet is overwhelmingly negative or positive, but one of the biggest and kind of most, I don't even know if it is negative, because for someone like me it's very positive, but having access to this amount of basically unlimited information about everything means that somebody who has a really, really wrong or aggressive opinion on one particular thing, it makes it so much more difficult for them to come around. When I was in my teens, I really did feel like as a white man, that life was a little bit harder for me because of, how there's just this, like, I don't even know what it is, but like, guys have this thing where like feminism is a really horrible word that nobody ever wants to discuss for whatever reason. I used to think that like the fact that men have to pay higher insurance premiums than women was an example of sexism. But it's actually not, though. Like, statistically, men are the worst drivers. They cause the most accidents. Like, they harm the most people. They lead to the highest insurance payouts, and that's why men pay a higher insurance premium. And I always used to be like, that's fucking outrageous. And now, and as an adult, I realized that like all the men love making jokes about how women are bad drivers, when in actual fact the complete opposite of that is true. But if I were to still believe what I believed in the past, the internet would be a great tool for amplifying that belief. And I've seen it with, it's just the way that you mentioned about reading the headline and not the article.
Yeah.
You know that fucking Meninist Twitter account?
Yeah.
So they tweeted this story that said, woman saved from drowning by man claims she was raped. And everyone, including the Meninist like dickholes, were like, oh, this is fucking typical, like, oh, make me a sandwich, bitch. You know, that whole fucking thing they have going on. And I clicked the article, and it was from a, quote, satirical, unquote, website.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, that's not even satire, that's just a made-up thing. Which, it wouldn't even surprise me if that itself was made to, like, make people angry.
Yeah, honeypot idiots.
Yeah. But they took it and used it as an example of why feminism is ruining the world. Like, this woman says that she was raped, and this guy is going to be in jail for 16 years for a crime that he didn't do. When in reality, even if that were true, those cases are in the absolute minority.
Yeah.
But because you have unlimited access to information that can say otherwise, you will just look at that and go, oh, well, obviously. The biggest thing I've seen is this is something I never knew existed, right? But did you know that on Twitter and Reddit and especially 4chan, it won't surprise you to learn that 4chan do it, there's a huge belief that there is a hashtag white genocide being attempted by the world. And I only noticed it when I clicked on the hashtag boycott Star Wars, because there's a black man in Star Wars, so obviously that's racist against white people.
Naturally.
Yeah, but I found all of these, like, I thought that it was just a joke at first, and that it was obvious trolls and stuff, and there's numerous articles about how it is just trolls, but there is actually this subculture of neo-Nazis who really strongly believe that the white race is in danger. And you have ongoing things like the refugee crisis and stuff like that that just completely heighten people's sensitivities, and people are so scared and paranoid, but they don't understand how privileged they are. You know, like to be a white person is just like, you are basically the luckiest. To be a white person at this point in time, statistically, you are the luckiest person that's ever lived. Like, you are in the luckiest bracket of people ever. Yeah,
I think I've said it before. You know, being a white male, I could go back anywhere in time, and I'd be fine. Let's be honest. Like, you know, being a white male, not only now, but if I went back to any period of time, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know what else? Anyone in the comments section who picks out the one time where white males were threatened, that person is someone who's going to have numerous posts about things like Gamergate and white genocide and all of these things in their fucking, like, history, even though YouTube doesn't actually work like that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, though? Like, that's what it is that it's always people like that where you know their point, and they don't even have to say it before you know what type of person it is.
Yeah.
Like, I remember once I was doing a Q&A, and someone asked about, I think it was about immigration in England, and I quoted this thing that this was something that the BNP were pushing at the time, that supposedly by 2050, at the current rate of immigration, white English people will be a minority in their own country, right? Which I would say is probably bollocks. I don't really think that that's true, unless they've found a way to really skew the statistics in their favor, which we all know is possible to do. But like, that sounds like such a scary thing, like, because you think about yourself and you're like, oh wow, there's not gonna be many like me. But like, if white people are a minority in England, so what?
Yeah.
What is the negative implication of that?
Yeah.
don't understand. And I said that, and this one guy commented saying, I really like you and everything, but there's no way white people should be a minority in England. And I responded saying, why? Like, just tell me why. Like, why is it a bad thing?
Like, they're so, like, this whole idea of immigration is so arbitrary. Like, people are going to move around. People have always moved around. People will always move around. Like, trying to suggest that you can only have this type of person in this country because of some arbitrary bullshit. Someone decided that this country is mine and nobody else is allowed in for this reason.
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
It's
like,
so stupid.
Part of me, like, and I don't want to sound like a massive hypocrite, but part of me can understand that how people can be angry if, you know, you've got people coming in that, you know, have no skills at all. If people are coming in just to benefit off the government, then fine, I can understand being angry about that. As a taxpayer, fine, be angry about someone taking the piss, because, you know, that's bullshit. That's you know, your money that should be going to essentially, you know, improve your government and improve your life in the long run.
100%.
But if it's going to benefit, but, you know, you can't just be angry at immigration.
Yeah.
Be angry at all the benefit scrounging cunts that are living off the dole because it's easier than getting a job.
And
be angry at them first, because they're already in the fucking country.
And even out of those, how many of them are doing it because they haven't had access to things like education and a proper upbringing because of the poverty that they're in?
Yeah.
Like, born out of the class that they've been brought into and stuff like that. Like, if you make things a racial issue, you will never ever get to the heart of the actual problem. If you're mad at people coming over here taking our jobs, or simultaneously scrounging off our benefits while they're doing it, or whatever, you will never ever address the thing that you are supposedly mad at. Everyone knows that if someone is coming into your country and claiming your money and everything, and you're mad about it, you're not mad about the money at all. Like, you don't care about that. And of the I remember seeing the actual statistics, the government statistics for how much of their national spend goes into benefits. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
It's like 0.6% or something like that. Of the, I don't know, but then of the actual money that does go into benefits, something like a really, really, really low amount, I think it's a single figure digit, actually goes to people who aren't working. And the rest are things like child support and, like, you know, like single mother and all of these different scales of benefits and stuff. But people actually living off benefits, there are not that many of them.
No.
Like, everyone knows the story of a person on the bus on the phone loudly, you know, boasting about how they don't work or whatever. But that's not reflective of the greater society as a whole, and neither is the immigration that you are supposedly being swallowed by. Like, it's so, but because you have this access to information, you can confer with others who are in a similar set of beliefs at the moment, and that leads to just so much hatred and venom and stuff that can never truly be addressed, because they have no real reason to not feel like that. Because to them it's 100% true, and that's a really bad thing, I think.
I think one of the things with the internet that is actually quite negative is, especially with social media, it's given the vocal minority, stupid, smart or otherwise, it has given them this platform to be heard by everyone. And, you know, while they might have taken to the streets in the past to shout from a megaphone on a box, you know, everybody walking past would know that they're a nut job.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyone can write a blog post, anyone can write an article, anyone can, you know, write a Facebook status with an emotional picture attached and go viral, and suddenly you've got 1,000,001 other idiots you know, sharing it, retweeting it, and it just becomes this massive snowball effect of stupidity and hypocrisy. And, like, you know, social media is such a great platform for so many things, but it's also a great platform for idiots.
It's like, you used to, back in the, I don't want to act as if I've been an adult when the internet wasn't around, 'cause that's not so. But even from speaking to people in pubs who say you're in your local pub and there's 7 old guys on the stools and you get the odd chat when you go up for a pint or whatever, people will chip away at you until they find the right person that they can project their less popular opinions onto. So if you converse with someone long enough, it used to be the case that you would eventually find out that they're actually a little bit racist, or that they have some particularly sinister opinions about the black family down the street, stuff like that. Whereas now people just fucking put it on Facebook in all caps, like, I don't mean to sound racist, but stuff like that, and you always see that from people that you know, people that you went to school with, who are now all of a sudden a big massive cunt, and you didn't know this when they were in school because they were a sound guy. But now they have this platform that they can just be like this openly, and like, what are you going to do about it? You're going to argue on Facebook because it's not face to face, so it's fine. And you can admit things like this on Facebook because it's private and it's cordoned off to, no one's going to overhear it or anything like that. And I find it really bizarre. Even like Facebook is a website where they don't allow you to have a fake name or an alias of any kind. Like, you're full on, that's your name, your photo, like that's
that is
who you
you.
are. Yeah, exactly. And people are more than happy to broadcast these ridiculous, they don't even have to be ridiculous, but certainly like controversial or things that are going to make other people angry and stuff. And like, that's really kind of baffling to me. Like, fair enough if it's Twitter and you're an egg with a racist name tweeting stuff with a hashtag. Like, I say fair enough, it's not fair enough at all, but I would understand why someone would choose anonymity. But I think what we're finding is that anonymity doesn't have that much of an impact on people's ability to say lewd, mean, aggressive, racist, all of these things, because people do it on Facebook anyway.
Yeah, and it absolutely staggers me that people are okay with attaching their name and face, something that is so easily searchable by anybody, prospective employers, for example. It's so easily searchable. You are so easy to find on the internet nowadays.
I know.
That's why I refuse to attach my last name or my actual email address to my Twitter account. Yeah. And why I don't put anything, because I love a good dark humour joke. I love dark humour, don't get me wrong, but there is no way that I'm going to put it on Facebook where prospective employers can see it, because that shit will ruin your life.
Yeah, it actually could, like, that could properly come back to bite you. That could stop you from getting that one job, especially in your field, where if you were to become like a relatively decorated or accomplished director, and if you were on the cusp of achieving
the big time,
and then
someone digs back through your Facebook, back through your Twitter, and find that one semi-racist tweet you made that was probably in jest as part of some big thing at the time, but no, all of a sudden you look like a fucking racist.
Yeah, that could be it. That could be the end of you.
The end.
Yeah.
Full stop. That's it.
And that's like absolutely like 100%.
Yeah, so that's why I don't understand why people, little Timmy Smith is so happy to verbally berate, or not verbally berate, but berate celebrities on Twitter when his name is attached. Yeah. That's why children shouldn't have Twitter. That's why there's an age limit for Twitter, because they will do stupid shit that will fuck their lives up.
Yeah. It's like, that isn't an absolute effect of the internet. Like, that never existed before. Like, that kind of thing. Like, sure, you probably, I mean, back in the day there was like the Watergate scandal, which led to lots of resignations and stuff like that, and sure, people could be hacked in different ways, but this scale of information and knowledge about individual people is unprecedented for sure. There is nothing like it that's ever existed. And I remember Cracked put an article up that was written from the point of view, it was actually written by what was the Gamergate girl's name? Zoe? Something
like that, yeah. I have no idea. I didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest.
It was like 5... it was basically like being the most hated person on the internet or something. And the top highest rated comment on the Facebook link of the article was, "It's because you're a fucking cunt." Right? That's somebody with a mother who wrote,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and like, how can you think when you comment that you are not a misogynist? Like, how can you think that it's, oh no, this is absolutely about ethics in journalism and not misogyny or anti-feminism or anything like that? Like, and then comment saying you're a cunt. Like, what? That's so fucking stupid. I don't know. I cannot wrap my head around people who are just that, like, readily available to broadcast their ignorance to the world. And those types of people generally revel in it because they love a good argument and they love a good, again, like as you say, a platform to broadcast this type of opinion. And like,
but there was something. There was something I saw recently that kind of falls in line with that kind of thing. It was actually a couple of days ago, and she's a violinist from LA, and she has saved and posted more than 1,000 messages that, like, just gross verbal abuse essentially that has been sent to her over the years via social media, and she's publishing them.
wow.
1,000+ messages from creeps, weirdos, and fetishists from the last 10 years. This guy's full name is attached to it, and it just says, "I wouldn't fuck you, I'd fuck the shit out you. Every day, morning, noon, and night, till you're black and blue, then tell you I love you." Yeah, like, and there's some things like this guy goes on a long one talking about how he's going to have an Asian orgy with her, and then signs it off with his name.
Jesus Christ.
It's unreal. This social, like, complete disconsonance, I think is the word. I think is the word I'm looking for, but it's just this complete. It's like the same with keyboard warriors. This complete department from reality that they think comes with being online, but when you attach your real name to it, that's not how it works.
I think that I favorited a tweet a couple of weeks ago that I saw that was a woman published she took a screenshot of these messages she got from this guy on Tinder, and she didn't talk to him at all, and at 2 p.m. he said, "You're a perfect mixture of sexy and cute that makes me want to hold you down and slap your ass in bed, but also kiss and cuddle the hell out of you." And at 2:34 he said, "You really are bad at holding a conversation." And then at 3:42 his final message to her, "Feminism is a plague to society." Like, the fucking entitlement he must feel to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell her this. Like, this is what I want to do to her." Like, she doesn't even know who you are. Like, you cannot just. I fucking hate that shit so much. Like, because he's probably seen that, like, in whatever, like, he could have seen it in YouTube videos, or like he could have seen it work for other people, or he could have seen one of those pickup artists, which are definitely the worst thing happening to this planet. Like, he could have just found that somewhere and just decided, yeah, I'll go ahead with this. Fair enough if you want to try something unorthodox and it doesn't work, but do not come back and blame, like feminism is a plague to society. That's something that someone says without even having a Google understanding of what the word feminism means, and it's just like she might not even be a feminist. She might actually think that it should stay the way that it is, and that, like, women don't need more rights than what they have because it's fair as it is. It makes no difference to her ability to, like, reply to that fucking thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's I don't know, how do you just come at someone like that? I really would love to see a graph that details the difference between a woman in a nightclub or a bar being approached by guys and a woman online being approached by guys, and also the way that they approach them, like things, like, obviously you'll never ever get this, but like their levels of aggressiveness after rejection and stuff like that. I would love to see. Actually, to be honest, I wouldn't. I weep enough as it is.
Weep for society as it is enough. But
But yeah,
Yeah, I think I think with something like that, you'd actually find that anybody that is aggressive and just disgusting in that manner after being rejected would never approach a actual human female
yeah.
in the flesh in the first place.
I think I would like to hope that, but I have seen it happen in real life. Like, I mean, I'm sure you have too.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
sure you've seen just guys being absolutely obscene because they've gotten rejected or whatever. A personal favorite is when they go up to a woman and they're like, "Hey, do you want to get off with me or whatever?" And the woman's like, "No," and they're like, "Oh, you slut." Like, but that's the exact thing that you're mad at her for not being.
I know.
that thing really blows my mind. But yeah,
But yeah, I know there was something I saw a while ago, and it was this woman who was she was fairly well known on some sort of a website. I can't remember what, she might have been a journalist or something like that. But she would get messages on Facebook, and they would be vulgar, crude, disgusting, sexist, downright worrying, some of them. And she took the time to select some of the worst ones, screenshot them, go through their friends list, find their family members, and send all of the screenshots of this person being
oh, that's amazing.
absolutely horrible to their mothers, their sisters, their fathers. And you can just imagine what the consequences were like. The amount of angry mothers was...
That's incredible.
Ooh, terrifying.
That's so good.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember, a long time ago I linked you to a Tumblr page that found... it was so genius the way it was done. But it searched one day. I say it because I'm fairly sure a program must have done this. But it searched anyone who has ever tweeted, "Bitch, get me a sandwich." "Bitch, make me a sandwich," that type of thing. Yeah. And then it found that tweet and archived it. And then went back into each of those this would have been the human element, gone back into each of these individual Twitter accounts and scanning through their tweets until they found something really fucking stupid that person also happens to think. And it was fucking amazing. Like, some of the ones that were like, "Bitch, make me a sandwich," and then also like, "Oh man, I hate that no girl wants me," or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, yeah, maybe you should examine yourself before you like see why. But like, even that as a tool to show how ridiculous these people are is really, really good. And like, I'm so thankful that I live in the internet era so that I can just see stuff like that, because it's so satisfying.
Yeah, you can actually just type in "bitch make me a sandwich" Tumblr, and it comes up. It's the first result on Google.
Really?
And just scrolling down, on one of the things is, his first tweet was, I just want a bitch who will make me a sandwich and suck my dick, no specific order. And the next tweet that they brought up was, hashtag, "if we date, I will sing Maroon 5 and she will be love to you while I'm driving." Like, opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. That's just so, like, that is a man who, like, is just completely in love with the idea of, like, lulling women and making women fall in love with him. Like, that's not a guy who understands that it's up to the woman herself. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people kind of fall into that, though. They think that there's a way, and to a point as well, like, men are not to blame for that as much as TV and the things that they've been raised on are to blame for. And the fucking, like, they don't teach you shit like that in school, like, to just be respectful to people and don't be such a, like, miserable bastard about stuff like that. But yeah, I think that's a huge thing about society that needs to change, and I do think that the internet has definitely opened my eyes to it, and once they've been opened, they can't be closed, and it's to the disdain of many of my subscribers and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't really care. Like,
I think a lot of it is coming off. I said earlier that I don't think young people should have social media accounts. This is why there is an age limit for Facebook and Twitter. And I think I will perfectly stand by that, because I think that you say stupid shit when you're a teenager. You will say the stupidest shit because you think you're edgy and you want to be edgy and cool.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. I'm
perfectly guilty of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I've said that when I was younger, I definitely felt like because I was a white male that the world was a little bit against me. Like, I thought that when I was a teenager. I'm not going to hide that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm morally superior now. I just think I'm an adult now and I fucking know better now.
Yeah, and I think for the vast majority of people that will be saying things like that, they will be under the age of 18.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
And while I can somewhat sympathise with being that age and being an absolute idiot in every regard, like absolutely every regard, in every way you are an idiot when you're 18 or below 18.
Yeah.
I don't think that exempts them from the circumstances.
I don't think so either, but again, I think this is something that also makes me a little bit hypocritical, because every day I kind of thank my lucky stars that Bebo was the Facebook of my day, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So prove it, bitches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm
my very early time on the internet is almost completely untraceable.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
I know, yeah. Like, I'm sure a lot of MySpace profiles will be deleted off the back of this podcast. No, it is, yeah. Like, I feel like, and I don't want anyone to misconstrue what we're saying here as being ageist, because I don't think you'll find a set of people who sympathize with young people more than, like, the people on this podcast in general. Like, I'm very much geared towards young people, and like, I really do feel like when I was younger that I wasn't told these things, and that I wish I was. So, you know, we're just doing the Lord's work here. So.
Yeah, we're just here to provide a service. But, you know, I don't hate teenagers. I just hate stupidity, and stupidity comes in many, many forms.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that on the internet you happen to run into a lot of stupid teenagers. Like it's almost unavoidable. They will say some of the stupidest shit without any thought to the consequence, and I'm guilty of it myself.
Yeah, I definitely was too back in the day. I don't know. I don't know how you would regulate that though. Like, you'd have to get to a stage where you segregate users based on age, and I just can't see that working out. And I don't even know if it would even be fair, because I have a big following of, well, no, that's not true. I have a following that has a big amount of the demographic that we're talking about here, and most of them are like mind-blowingly sensible and in agreement with things that I say, and contribute like as many good points as like,
you put out yourself.
Yeah, and it's like that, seeing that is definitely like like I can think off the top of my head of at least 20 people that regularly enough or used to regularly talk to me on Twitter who are of that age demographic, and are all like really fucking tuned in and clued in. And I think I'm fortunate as well to have an audience like that, because I know from being on other channels that not everybody does, and I don't know if I would be cut out for that. I think that's one of the reasons why I always seem to sabotage any momentum that my channel gets, because I get this mass influx of subscribers who start demanding things or throwing out swear words, and I'm just like, well, no, fuck off though.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. I really do that. And I think that's probably part of the reason why. I never really gave it that much thought. But what do you think about the internet's impact and effect on news media and journalism, and more so old school journalism, in the sense that I feel like newspapers are not quite dying out but declining?
I think I would be willing to argue, and I'm basing this on not much other than personal experience getting the tube for the last year, that there will always be a part and a place for the newspaper.
Oh, I 100% agree.
For the foreseeable future, anyway. I will be, I would willing to admit that I am wrong if I'm so proved that way. But I think that as much like books, as a tactile experience, reading a newspaper will beat out reading the news on your phone.
It's really
And
strange.
that's why.
No, go on.
Sorry, that's why that's also the same reason that I don't think people say that I don't know if you've seen it before, but people have claimed that Kindles and e-readers will be the death of books.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's complete bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, was that it's really strange that I really don't like conservatism for the sake, or conservatism for the sake of it. Like, I really don't like people who are like, you know, those fucking hoverboard things that people have now, whatever they're called, those
Segway things.
I really don't like people who see those and go, oh, well, there's a cunt. Like, it's something you don't understand. It's different. Like, move on. It doesn't concern you. I was down by my work. There was like a 50-year-old woman on a scooter the other day. You know, one of those scooters that you wheel. And she like went past these two builder guys, and they were like, "What? How old is she? 50? Jesus, that's fucking ridiculous." And I was like, "Yeah, she's 50, and she's getting to work way fucking quicker than you two cunts."
Yeah.
And like, I think I really just don't like people who see something that's unusual and go, "Oh, well, that shouldn't exist because I'm not used to seeing that." But I will never read a book on a Kindle because I just have to have the book.
Yeah.
But
it's such a tactile experience.
Yeah, and
turning the pages, all of that.
There's a study that proved that people who read the actual book take in more information than people who read the exact same stuff on a Kindle, and they haven't shown why. And I think it's weird because I read so much online. I just wouldn't read a book or a story online. I read my news on my phone. Like, I read everything that I need to know about topics and, like, research things and just my own general, like, recreational study. And all of that comes from the internet. I just don't get why my brain hasn't made that transition for books. It's really just because of nostalgia and conservatism, like a little bit of inbuilt conservatism that wants it to stay that way.
Yeah. What is that's actually a thought, because saying that there's almost this conservatism, and potentially I was thinking a little bit of almost nostalgia. And I don't know about you, but I find myself, and I don't know if I've voiced this before on this show, but I've definitely voiced it to my girlfriend. I regret not paying as much attention or trying as hard in school. Because I have, and again, my girlfriend is fully aware of this because it pisses her off to no end. I crave knowledge now. Yeah. I'm 22 years old and I've never craved knowledge like this before in my entire life. In school, I was literally bombarded with the stuff, and I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And I'm part of me is wondering if, kids growing up being able to use iPads and stuff like that, and using iPads, I'm sure they can be used in a great manner for schoolwork and stuff like that in the future. But part of me wonders if it's detrimental to the learning process.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that as well. It's a huge topic for debate at the moment, whether or not Google is making you stupider or cleverer. And it is really, really true that if you need to know something and you Google it and find out in a few seconds, you do not retain that information at all. That is not helpful for you in any capacity other than it gets it off your mind at the time. But then I thought about that and how true that is, and how undeniably true that is. But the exam system in school is exactly that, just on a slightly bigger scale, a slightly more substantially long scale. You learn it over 2 years instead of 2 minutes, but you forget it all straight after. Like, I learned an entire fucking language that I've forgotten. Like, I was almost... Nah, it's not true. I wasn't almost fluent in Gaelic at all. But, like, I passed honours level Gaelic. Largely, I believe, in my ability to hold a conversation in Gaelic. Like, I did extremely well on the oral exam, and I know that I did. I was really, really good at speaking Irish. Like, I used to go to this Irish college in the summer, and I would speak it fluently there. And I have forgotten most of it.
Yeah.
I go to my girlfriend's house and she's got this little niece who they're teaching like Gaelic words to, just to like prepare her for school or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, and just basic words have just vanished from my head. Like
Yeah.
they're teaching a 2-year-old stuff, and she knows more than I do right now.
Mm.
And like it's because it's just like it doesn't exist anymore, and that's the same thing that Google does. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a correlation between the two. Like whenever there's a topic that I like to know more about, I will read it until I'm satisfied. But then I'll still forget it after. Like, you know, the stuff that we researched for the earlier Midnight Hour episodes,
Mhm.
I've forgotten a large
Oh.
chunk of that.
Oh yeah, not a chance I could regurgitate any of that information at all.
Which I think a lot of people will kind of die inside a little bit there, because I think people think that we are really, really, really intelligent.
I think what has made us able to put out, I suppose this is the 49th episode, so made us even intermittently able to put out 49 episodes of the Midnight Hour, is our ability to speak confidently on topics we're not actually completely sure about.
I know, yeah, which is literally the whole reason that we even started this podcast in the first place, was because we got some sort of study that was done that proved that that's maybe a fair point, and that's what we've done the whole way through. Like it's mind blowing, and like when you're saying about craving attention, like I fully get that. Like I cannot turn the computer off. If I'm going to bed, if I tell myself I'm going to bed at 10:30, I will be in bed at 11:30. Because there's something I had to know before I went to bed, like why is ice slippery? Like why is that? You don't even know why. You think that it's because it's related to water, but no, it's actually got nothing to do with that. It's some completely other reason to that, and
It's actually a complete lack of friction, but why that it has a lack of friction is completely beyond me.
Exactly, yeah. Like it's
So I know that one piece of information, but the follow-up bit is lost to me.
Yeah, and I think another thing that is slightly related to that is if you have, I feel like I almost, what's the word? I feel like I put myself in so much danger by Googling the thing that's wrong with me instead of going to the fucking doctor. Do you know what I mean? Like,
the classic case of you have cancer because WebMD told you that a runny nose, it might be a sign of prostate cancer in 1 in 3 billion patients.
Yeah.
So suddenly, alright, well, prostate cancer it is then, better start saying our goodbyes.
I used to be like that, and then I soon learned that, yeah, that's not true though, is it? So now I take the lightest answer, where someone will say, it's probably nothing, and I'll be like, okay, good, that's good enough for me. Like, if that's what the internet says, then that's fine, and I wonder how much danger I am in because of that.
One of my perpetual fears, something that I didn't actually mention because it's so ridiculous, and I probably should have mentioned this in our fears and phobias episode, is I am perpetually terrified of having diabetes.
Oh shit, yeah.
If I'm fatigued for a day, if I pee a lot in a day, I am fucking shitting bricks that I've got diabetes.
Yep.
It's so ridiculous, and I know all of these kind of common signs of diabetes because I'm so terrified of it.
Yeah, I know. I actually think I probably have it. Like, I really genuinely think I probably have undiagnosed diabetes. I feel like the amount of sugar that I ingest. To be honest with you, I don't even know how people get diabetes. I don't even know if it is directly related to how much sugar you ingest on a daily basis. I don't know if it has anything to do with that. I think it does, but part of me, again, is so cynical because of the internet that I kind of think that in my head I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't have that much sugar, and oh well, to be honest, the sugar thing, that's probably a load of bollocks anyway. I've never seen any proof of that. Not that I've ever fucking looked for it, but I don't know. If I learned that I had diabetes, it wouldn't surprise me at all, and I would be gutted to learn it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I'd just be like, oh fuck, like, well, that makes sense. Like, that's terrible. But yeah, I don't know.
It's a fascinating thing, like pre-internet, would I have worried about diabetes? Probably not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. As a kid, like,
It's difficult because our adult life is the internet and has been the internet. We have known the internet since we are the internet generation, as it were.
yeah,
A lot of people could argue it's kind of people younger than us, but we grew up with almost the formation of the internet, with the start of the internet, and we don't have this reference point of adult life without the internet.
no,
So our parents could look and say, would I have been like this pre-internet? Because they had this rational thinking adult brain that was developed without the internet, whereas us, we've got no basis, we've got no point to launch off of for that.
yeah.
So it's impossible to say would I have been like this pre-internet, because I don't know pre-internet me, because
Yeah,
pre-internet me was a child.
It's at the same time though. I still feel like, even though I'm 25 years old. Well, no, I'm not. But I might be by the time this episode is out. My birthday is the 6th of November. I wish I could remember what I was about to say.
It's that old
I got
age
it.
kick,
I remembered.
mate.
I still feel like I am only adjusting to having all of this information readily available to me. I don't feel like this is constant and this is my adult life. I feel like this has happened really fucking quickly. Like, I went from having a Sagem. I don't know if anyone remembers Sagem phones, but shout out to them, they were incredible.
I think I do, yeah.
They had a colour screen and polyphonic ringtones.
Yeah, go polyphonic ringtones.
I went from that to having email on my phone really fucking quickly. And from that to being able to I remember when I first watched a video on my phone, I was blown away by it. I could not believe that I'd had a phone that could do that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even an internet video. It was a video that someone had Bluetoothed to you through a painstaking ordeal of about 6 or 7 minutes.
Do you know, I actually really think it was a GIF image.
Oh, wow.
I don't even think it was a video. I think it was a GIF image.
Yeah.
Of Britney Spears and Madonna kissing at the VMAs.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. You mentioned polyphonic ringtones.
Yeah.
And polyphonic ringtones seemed like they were, they were the thing to have. Having a polyphonic ringtone was, you were top tier.
You would.
How many of your subscribers actually know what a polyphonic ringtone is?
Oh yeah, please comment that.
Like, I don't want to sound patronising, but I'm genuinely interested in, say, you're 25, I'm 22. Some of these guys, maybe, let's guess, at an average of 16, 17?
Hold on, I'm 24, pal. Don't go throwing
you
around
just said
wild.
25.
Yeah,
big
but
so.
as we've discussed, there's a lot of things I don't know about a lot of things.
So, say your subscriber base averages out, what would you say? I mean, you've probably got a better idea of...
I'll tell you what, we'll actually find out.
Oh, but, it's a matter of a couple of years.
Yeah, I'd say I think my demographic, the average FIFA demographic is something like 12 to 15, but mine is like 15 to 18. I think.
Yeah. Okay, so say it averages out at 16, 17. That's 4 years different. 6 years difference between me and them.
Yeah.
9 years difference for you.
Yeah.
So a lot technology, the amount that changes in that amount of time.
That's a lot of internet.
That is a lot of interneting that just happened.
It is.
I'm really interested in knowing that, actually.
I would love to know, and I feel like my subscribers probably think I patronize them a lot when I say things like that, but it's actually not. I'm actually curious to know how many how many people had a MySpace profile. Like, how many of you know what Bebo is? Because, like, I don't know, it's all like, I kind of feel like really old knowing those things, and it's really unsettling to feel like that because I'm so used to being the young person, and I'm so used to feeling discriminated against because I'm young, but like I'm 24, and like I'm so much older than the people I relate to the most and stuff like that, and it's very strange.
Yeah, there's a great quote from The Simpsons, and it's Homer's dad that says it, and you might have heard this before or seen it on the internet. It says, "I used to be with it, but then they changed what it was.
Yeah.
Now what I'm with isn't it, and what's it seems weird and scary to me,
Yeah.
and it will happen to you."
Yeah.
And that is, that is so on the ball.
Yeah.
That is so apt to how I'm starting to feel at age 22.
I know. Yeah, but I also fight that so much because I hate that so much. And I don't mean I fight it to the point where I'm down with the kids, because that's painful. What
Yeah.
I think is cool will always be cool in my head. Like, when I'm 39 years old, I will still listen to some new metal tracks and be like, yeah, this back in the day, this was my jam. I you know what I just imagined in my head was like, you walk into like a Tesco or something, and you know where they have those CDs that are like highway songs or like dad rock, like the ultimate classic rock collection, and it's got Don't Stop Believing. It's like that, but it's got like Wait and Bleed by Slipknot and like Rolling by Limp Bizkit on the cover. And instead of like a cheesy electric guitar, it's like a digital version of like a Slipknot mask or something.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's gonna happen though.
Yeah, it's probably going to happen.
That's
but
actually gonna happen. And like, I don't know, like people like me and you will like go on some drunken weekend and end up listening to that because of the nostalgic effect. Oh, that's terrible. That's gonna happen.
But I think what's interesting, is touching upon this, the ability to use the internet and stuff nowadays, and saying that what it is has changed, and you saying that you're managing to, or you're keeping up with it somewhat. I think that's part of the beauty of pop culture and the internet, is that as long as you immerse yourself in it to some degree, it's relatively easy to keep up.
It is. It absolutely is.
I don't think that we will ever have kind of the same kind of baffled by technology tropes that, you kind of have with our parents' generation. The kind of whole teachers leaving the cursor on the screen during a video in class.
Yeah.
You'll never have that kind of, that's a trope of, an older person, their inability to move the cursor and things like that. And I'm not sure that that's something that we'll ever deal with as a generation.
Sure.
But there was something that I saw that was kind of along the lines of, it's the cursor on the screen now, but in the future it will be, come on, you've got to move the vortex out of the way of the 4D hologram, miss. Things like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I don't know necessarily, because I do know people who still say, like, if they're calling out a web address, they'll say
www.
HTTP.
Oh, Jesus.
: You know what I mean? Like,
Christ.
I don't know if, like, we are obviously a certain section of our generation that have not only found our way to the internet, but
embraced it.
Properly embraced it. And we have, like, me and you met basically from the internet, like, indirectly, but that without the internet, there's no way that we would have ever crossed paths.
No,
it just would not have happened.
No, not at all.
So, like, that will tell you our ability to, like, navigate it and understand it and stuff. And other people, it's different. Other people are just interested in different things and pursue it in different means. And I don't know, like, a lot of my friends wouldn't know the first thing about antivirus software. And, like, I am such a high level of internet user that I don't even have antivirus software, because there's
no need for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you just don't be stupid and then you won't get a virus. Like, it is really as easy as that. No matter how much the fucking Adobe Flash thing tries to force McAfee or whatever.
Oh god, that shit.
Yeah, which is basically a virus in itself. But
yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, there's so much to be... there's so much to take away from it, and there's so much to be amazed by, and there's so much to think about. It's really hard to actually gauge what the internet's impact on society is,
Mm.
and especially for me and you to do it, because like you said, like, we didn't really live pre-internet era.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I'm adjusting, and I feel like that is a testament to how rapidly things are still changing. Like, I don't know, like, Wi-Fi amazes me, but what amazes me even more is that my phone has like 4G. Like, I'm on the bus in the middle of nowhere and I'm checking Twitter. Like, how does that even work? It's
just even being able to use, there's Wi-Fi in the tube system in London. Like,
yeah, that's mental.
It's unreal, and it's fantastic.
They don't have it on in the carriages yet, though, do they?
No, just at the platforms.
Stations. Yeah, that's
a
shame.
That is a bit. But I think with everything that I can kind of say to the detriment of the internet, and I think it's brought about so many brilliant and wonderful things.
Yeah,
I don't I think there's plenty of ways that people could argue that the internet is ruining society, and to some degrees I may agree with certain subjects, but as a whole, no, it's such a wonderful thing.
I think, as a whole, it unites people on a scale that is obviously unprecedented. Like, it does so many things that, even as an introvert, and I feel like everyone on the internet says they're an introvert now, but I am a classic introvert. Like, I have all the traits of an introvert. Well, maybe not so much as an adult, but that was kind of my next point, was that if you make an internet reference that only internet people will get, and you get a response to that, you immediately have a connection with that person that feels like an understanding. You know what I mean? Like, so it really helps you build friendships in that way, and it's really, it's just such a powerful tool. I really feel like the people who oppose the internet or just refuse to get with it, like, they changed what it was. Like, you have to fucking get with the internet. Like, and I feel like this is a huge fucking thing that TV companies are really, really falling behind on. TV companies and other things. Like, there's this huge chain of... It's, W.H. Smith in England, the book. What are they? What is a book distributor?
Stationery, bookstore, magazines, cards, everything.
It's like that, but they, like, their speciality is literature. Like, they sell books to people, right? And there's a book that I bought recently called Futuristic Violence in Fancy Suits by David Wong, which, if you're interested in, like, certain psychological assessments of the internet, you should probably read, because it's really good. I'm 35 pages in, but I've no doubt that it's going to be a masterpiece. But I wanted to buy it, so I went to Eason's, which is the shop that's like W.H. Smith. It's the biggest book chain in Ireland. I went to their website. I didn't even go to the actual shop. And I typed in the name of the book, and it was there, and you could only order it to be online. And I was like wondering if I could check its availability in store, because I was going to be down in the shopping centre, and you can't do that. Right, which A, I find fucking ridiculous, but B, even more so when, if you actually go into the shop, they have computers in there where you can type in the book's name, find out if they have it in stock in that store, and then find out if they have it in stock in other Eason's stores.
Yeah.
Like, why is that not on your website? This is gonna impact traffic for you. If I order the book from Eason's, it gets to my house in 3 days. If I order it from Amazon, it's cheaper. I get it in 2 days. I'm not looking to get it delivered to me. Like, I have that option. I want to go and buy the book, and I can't fucking check its availability because they haven't updated. It's not even as if it's a thing they haven't implemented. They have it. They just haven't put it online. And that is like, you don't realize that your industry is dying because of the thing that you were so badly neglecting. Like, I cannot stand that type of not ignorance, but you know what I mean, like naivety, I suppose, to just not get that. I don't know, it baffles me. It's baffling.
Yeah, and I think that, with politicians and with David Cameron saying that he wants to ban all encryption on WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, all of that.
That's fucking stupid.
And people are just that is an invasion of privacy at the most. I was going to say at the most basic level, but
the highest level.
Yeah, at the highest level. and people are okay with it because they say, well, I'm not tweeting about or messaging about terrorist attacks.
That is my least favorite mentality.
And it's like, but this is your privacy. It doesn't matter if you're not doing anything. You have the right to not be spied on.
Yeah. But and these are people who don't understand that Jennifer Lawrence is the victim of the hacking. Like, people say, "Oh, she should have never taken those photos." Like, you shut the fuck up. Like, that is, I really hate that mentality. Like, oh well, I've got nothing to hide. Like, yeah, I'm sure you don't have anything to hide. Like,
nothing you'd want in the public eye by
yeah,
accident.
nothing that could cause you to lose your job if it were made public. Like,
Yeah,
fuck off. Like, actually, just I hate that.
it's ridiculous.
It's one of those things though that is just absolutely a wrong opinion.
Yeah,
Like, it's a school of thought or whatever, and I'm sure, like, I can see the logic in it to a degree, but it's so fucking wrong. Like, it's intrusive, it's invasive, it goes against so many like fundamentals of those types of rights that people should have. But because I don't know, I guess they tell the story in that way where it's like, oh well, to protect against this and this, we're doing this, but actually no, it's looking to spy on people. Yeah,
and just further that point with that kind of thing, and then the censorship of the internet, and I'm only going to touch upon it briefly because we've been going on for quite a long time now. But it's the whole porn filters that David Cameron brought in, and it's this whole mollycoddling of the nation, of everybody simultaneously, and it just baffles me that anybody could be okay with just that kind of level of being controlled, as it were.
Yeah.
People see it as kind of, oh, protect the children, protect this and that, and it's bullshit. It's the government exerting their control over you, and the government should work for the people, not against them.
It is like something that I would love if we could talk about as its own topic. But the people in power, and I think in particular David Cameron
exemplifies
this thing that I have in my head of I don't like, I'm naturally liberal, and I naturally have an inclination to disagree with or hate even like certain methods of conservatism. But David Cameron is so fucking out of touch with his, like, that society. Like, this is the man who put his dick in the
allegedly.
Yeah, that's not fair to actually say, because that is only alleged. But even if untrue, this guy's education, where he comes from, his background, like, he doesn't represent the average person at all in any way. Like, you don't even have to. He just doesn't.
Not in
even
the slightest.
Understand. He doesn't know what's happening in his own. Like, this is a guy who was trying to appeal to football fans, so he claims to be an Aston Villa fan, and he said that he was a West Ham fan because they wear the same colour jersey. He has not got a clue what his average citizen in his own country is actually like. Like, he just does not connect with these people at all. He's on a completely higher plane. He's so far out of touch, and yet he's making decisions like this for their safety. Like, that's not right, because he has no idea. Like, he just doesn't understand, and that baffles me. Like, it blows my mind.
Yeah, and I think the fact that people are so placid and so okay with the fact that he is our Prime Minister is just bullshit. And I mean, the whole thing about when Jeremy Corbyn was, I think this exemplifies and is and it has renewed, if it had even abated, my hatred of David Cameron, is when he claimed that Jeremy Corbyn was a threat to national security.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Fuck right off.
Fuck me.
Yeah, that's... And, like, there's so many things I just thought, that pig thing with David Cameron, if that came out 10 years ago, I think that would have been the end of him. But I think that because of the internet, we've really moved into a stage where we get really excited over one particular thing for 15 minutes and then we forget it. And I think we've already forgotten the pig thing.
Yeah.
And I find that really crazy to think about. I mean, we don't know if it's true, and that is fair enough. It is only an allegation. But an allegation is enough to ruin a man's career.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I really do think that 10 years ago that would be the end of him. 15 years ago, definitely. That's the end of any political,
Yeah.
But now it's...
I think, I've been doing a lot of a thing in marketing at university recently, and the constant thing that is thrown around is that studies have shown that teenagers have an attention span 4 seconds. And I think that translates, into this wider thing of the fact that nobody gives a shit after 20 minutes. It's done. Like, that's it. A day on the internet is a lifetime.
Yeah, it's true. Like, even from my point of view, if something like that happens, my first instinct is to express my opinion in the form of a joke.
Yeah.
So once all the good jokes are taken, I don't really have anything else to contribute. And that's, like, a lot of people obviously will go and copy paste the best joke of the day and use it as their tweet. But, like, if I search the hashtag and I see that my joke is there, the joke I was going to make is there, so I'm like, I don't have anything else to say on this, so I'm just not going to say anything. So that's it. Like, it's out of my life now. It's a thing that I thought about and now I'm over. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like once other people are saying the same thing as me, I don't really see the point in discussing it anyway. When it's something like that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, man. The internet, eh?
It's crazy.
Shit.
Yeah. I have always wanted to do an episode like this. We didn't even get into some of the stuff that we were talking about, like, before we actually went live.
No.
Which kind of makes me think that we should do a sequel to this.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. I think we'll mark that. We'll pencil that in.
Yeah. Maybe not episode 50, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Saying that, everything we've just talked about, everyone will forget by the time it gets to the next episode anyway, so...
Oh, that's nice. I love what you did. Yeah, that's good. This is a good episode. I liked it.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, cool.
Alright, bye.
Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright, have a good life.
Bye. Right.
Unsubscribe. that was quite good.
Yeah. They say that all your old girls got somebody new. I said, damn, really? Even Rosemary, even Leanne Sealy. They said, fucking right, they were the first to go. It's nothing personal, it's just that all them women that you slept on were working, though. They been saving up. New niggas came around, they been waking up with, I swear, you don't know this city anymore. They might have loved you before, but you're out here doing your thing. They don't know you. Sure they do, they just not as sincere. It's crazy all the emotions forgotten a year. She like, why you even give a fuck? You not even here. Well, out there, it ain't nothing for me, and I think I need to come home. Tell me, who did I leave behind? You think it got to me? I can just read your mind. You think I'm so caught up in where I am right now. But believe I remember it all. I be with my nigga Chubbs, he in love with street shit. No wonder why I feel awkward at this fashion week shit. No wonder why I keep fucking up the double cheek kiss. Along for that ignorant young money in Miami Beach shit. Couple artists got words for me, that's never fun. They say it's on when they see me, that day don't never come. I'm never scared, they never real, I never run. When all is said and done, more is always said and done. And I was told once, things will change. By a nigga named Tip when my deal came. Told me it's all good, even when it feels strange. Now I'm the guy that know them strippers by their real names. Rochelle, Jordan, thick bitches, they just told me how to $4 grand. How to pile of kush become a mountain of truth. How to bottle of wine become the fountain of youth. Damn, My biggest fear is losing it all. Remember how I used to feel at the start of it, and now I'm living a motherfucking fairy tale, and still trying to keep you feeling a part of it. Yeah, just lie to my ears, tell me you feel the same, that's all I've been dying to hear. Lights get low and that's when I have my brightest ideas, and I heard my city feel better than ever, that's why I gotta come home.
Tell me, who did I leave behind? You think it got to me? I can just read your mind. You think I'm so caught up in where I am right now, but believe I remember it all.
My mother is back to who she was years ago. It's like a new page me and her beginning on. I wish she stopped checking up on women I can't stand, cause I got new girls I could use her opinion on. She thinks I've become a slave to the wealth, but I never break the promises I made to myself. And I would never make up names for myself, then change the names that I just gave to myself. Certain rappers would call me to say what up though. I used to brag about it to my friends, and now I'm feeling like all of these niggas cutthroat, and maybe that's all they do is just pretend. Damn, but I bought it though, I believed it. Yeah, I thought it and I achieved it. Yeah, so show me love, show me fucking love, cause I thought it was all I needed. Yeah, clearly I was wrong about it all along, and this'll be the year that I won't even feel shit. They trip off the amount of people that I brought along, but I'm just trying to be surrounded by some real shit. Need credentials for every one of these Toronto kids. I promise they see it with me, we just trying to live. I told them we about to get it and we finally did. Listen closely to my shit, I swear it sounded like home, like home.
Who did I leave behind? You think it got to me? I can just read your mind. You think I'm so caught up in where I am right now, but believe I remember it all.
Well, you see, where I feel about the music, it can be copied, you know, but it's not copied to it. It's the feel, you know. It carry a feel where if you ask plenty musicians, them know it, but them can't do it. So people still searching for this truth here.
Imagine that was the first time we spoke today, and that's how you answered the call. Let me see.
Answered the call.
Yeah, fuck it. I think we're ready.
Yeah.
Need to do the Wolf of Wall Street thing. That's not what it is, and that was really fucking sore. Oh, I got glasses. That's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Putting them on's like everything suddenly turns into HD. It's fucking magical.
Yeah, it's really weird though, because it kind of gets a little bit smaller as well. Like, my peripheral vision is a little bit skewed now.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
You'll get used to it, trust me.
Yeah, I know. I don't wear them all the time.
No.
You have glasses too?
Yeah, I have to wear them.
Are you short-sighted, or are they like reading glasses?
Short side.
Oh, right.
But I'm also a little bit. They're also a little bit reedy.
Oh, really?
Basically, anything from about 3 feet in front of me, I am blind.
Really?
Yeah, I've got awful eyesight.
Do you wear contacts usually?
Yeah, constantly.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, I hate wearing glasses because they're like a physical manifestation as a reminder of the fact that my eyesight is awful.
Yeah, I do know.
And it's just one more thing that will stop me becoming an astronaut. So.
There's a really cool thing, which isn't cool at all. It's really fucking annoying. But when you're walking and you've got glasses and you kind of look down, but don't put your head down, so your eyes go down and they peer out of the glasses and onto just a sea
it's like it's like someone's just gone. Oh, right, no more seeing for you.
Yeah, it's
like, just like, oh dear.
It's like the world is loading. Like,
yeah, it's like you just kind of you when you're wearing the glasses, at times you'll just forget that you're wearing glasses and that actually you're blind,
Yeah.
and then you'll look from underneath your glass and it'll be like, oh yeah, shit,
I know.
I can't see.
Right, will we go into this?
Yeah.